Good evening, ladies and gents, and welcome to another Q8 Pilot stream. It is 2100 hours local time, 1800 Zulu time for our full review of the FPS or Flight Procedure Simulation Embraer E-195 for X-Plane 12. I want to welcome all of you guys to this live stream, FSB, and we want to welcome Ken McKenzie to Commercial Pilot. Thank you, Ken, very much for your support. Amari Joseph, Captain USA, and we have with us today also Arthur. Hello, Arthur. Welcome aboard. We're going to find out just how those two aircraft compare in this live stream. We have with us also this evening Christy. Hello, Christy. Welcome. Synth Fanatic, welcome aboard, my friend. Thank you very much for your continued support and lovely content on YouTube. Guys, if you don't know who Synth Fanatic is, he is a fellow content creator and he's got a brilliant channel. Please do visit his channel and give him a few hundred likes and subscribes. Ryan, hello Ryan, welcome aboard. Glad to have you here. And we have Wattfish. Hello Wattfish, welcome. Mika Morgan, welcome aboard. Bryce Williams, how are you doing, my friend? And we have also Riggs. Hello, my friend. Rotor Fib, welcome aboard. Glad to have you here. And I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, but welcome aboard, my friend. Stefanos, welcome. Glad to have you here. All right. So, folks, today we are going to be taking a look at this aircraft, and it took me a while to sort out an issue with the autopilot. And before we begin, if anyone is planning on getting the aircraft, there is a slight issue with the honeycomb yoke. If you have the honeycomb alpha yoke, you need to turn on your alt, bat mastery, bus 1, bus 2, and all your switches to the on position for the correct operation of the autopilot. It's a known it's a known bug with honeycomb flight controls, but everything else should be in tip-top shape for our flight today. We have also Camille. Hello, Camille. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you. So what we're going to be doing first, as we normally do, is we're going to be taking a look at the exterior modeling, the texturing, both inside and out. We are then going to start the aircraft from its cold and dark state aboard this Azul Airlines. We're doing a flight today in Brazil. And we're going to really put it to the test, and we're going to see how it compares to the X-Craft E-Jets model. Now, from the price point perspective, the FPS, by the way, FPS, or Flight Procedure Simulations, is formerly known as SSG. They're the developers of the only good 747 for X-Plane. So on the price point, this aircraft costs $55. So just to keep that as a point in a reference point as we go through this review flight. And the X-Craft single aircraft cost about $75. So we're going to bear those two facts in mind while we complete this review. All right. So let me zoom in a little bit here to the aircraft. And now from the 3D modeling perspective, I would say that FPS has done a reasonably good job to create a authentic rendition in terms of the 3D model of the aircraft. So this pretty much looks like the Embraer E-195. I would not call this, a high fidelity rendition in terms of the textures, on the other hand, but nonetheless they've done a reasonably good job. The quality of the textures are a bit lacking in my view, but it doesn't really take much away from the aircraft because the modeling is done reasonably well. The texturing could use some work without a doubt, it doesn't have perhaps the details that we've seen on the X-Craft model. Nonetheless, it's still pretty good. I mean, if you can look here, the landing gear, I mean, some nice details there. But I tend to like the X-Craft model in terms of the texturing and the 3D model itself. I like the X-Craft a little better than this one, but from the exterior, not really a big deal in my view. Still, pretty much an Embraer that looks good. The quality is reasonable. They haven't left anything out, so all the components that you'd see on the real aircraft are actually modeled here, and you can see them, and they're done to an acceptable standard. Here's a look at the other side as well here. Let's take a look. Again, reasonably well developed, well modeled aircraft with nice texturing overall. The one thing I probably think that needs little work is perhaps the engines. So if we look here, they are reasonable. They're not bad looking, but as you come closer, you know, you can see the resolution of the textures isn't really that great, and the inner part of the engine here again does not look all that great in terms of the texturing. But I mean, who's going to zoom like all the way in like this except maybe for me? Yeah, just to be complete, concise and complete about the review. And since we already have something to compare this, so we do have a baseline, and the baseline is a very high quality baseline, which is the X-Craft E-Jets. So yeah, in terms of the exterior model, I think it looks reasonable. And now we're going to hop into the cockpit. All right, now coming to the cockpit, as you can see here, the cockpit is, again, reasonably modeled by FPS, or flight procedure simulations. We can see here the overhead panel, nicely developed overhead panel. Nothing too, how should I put it? Nothing too fancy, I would say. That's the word. Nothing too fancy about it. It's okay. It's not the highest fidelity possible. And the entire cockpit is, again, reasonable, but not the fidelity that, you know, I'm accustomed to for an add-on of this price. But don't let that get to you yet, because I will tell you that the systems, the simulation of the aircraft systems, are actually very, very good. And we're going to take a look at the systems in just a minute. But overall, there is a nice tablet here, which we're going to be using today to do the load and balance. The aircraft parts and the switches and equipment are there. Not everything works. So these are INOP, for example. But all the essentials do work, and we're going to be taking a look at that. And I think that really is what really matters in the end, is how the aircraft is going to operate. And according to the developer, real-world Azul airline pilots have tested this aircraft, and they're quite happy with it. Swedish Aviator, welcome aboard. Glad to have you here. Thank you very much, sir, for being here. Alex, hello, Alex. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you here. Thank you very much for being here. Appreciate your support, my friend. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the cabin real quick, just so you guys also get a feel for, you can open the door, which is nice. And we can go to the passenger cabin. And again, the cabin is okay. Nothing, you know, they're not very, you know, it's okay. It's not bad. You know, you've got at least the seat numbers there modeled. Overall, nice cabin. If you like that sort of thing. I don't really care much for cabin, you know, for the cabin development, but it's there if you absolutely want it. It's there and it's modeled and it's reasonable. Again, not a high fidelity rendition. And this is, again, a look at the cockpit. As you can see, everything is modeled, at least whatever you need to operate the aircraft within the limits of this sim are modeled. But the textures, without a doubt, can use a little bit of work. All right. Very quickly on the sounds, the sounds department, I think the sounds are not bad. Hear it? Again, they're F-mod sounds. And yeah, you have the ground power connected. That's why we can hear the seatbelt signs. Again, nothing too fancy about the sound of the switches and the knobs, but they do the job. The F-mod sound set created for the aircraft does the job. Not the highest fidelity sounds, but again, reasonable, considering, you know, what the aircraft does in terms of systems. So some things will compensate for other things. But we'll take a look at that. So there you go. Those are the sounds, the textures, the 3D models. So far, so good. I will be very frank with you guys. I will give the marks on the on the exterior modeling, the interior modeling, the texturing, and the sounds of the switches and the knobs. I will give the points to Xcraft's model, without a doubt. And of course, just bear in mind that the Xcraft model costs $20 more than this model. So that is something that we should keep in mind as we go through this review. All right, so let me tell you a little bit about our flight today, and we're going to bring up our lovely SimToolkit Pro here to kind of show you guys. We are going to be departing Hercílio to Viracopos International in Brazil. So we're heading closer to Sao Paulo in Brazil. We are Azul 4410 this evening, and we're going to be cruising at 35,000 feet. We're going to be carrying approximately, let's see, approximately 2,000, let me go to our payload and balance, about 8,400 kilos of fuel, and with a payload of 24,400 kilos of fuel for this flight today. And we're going to start setting things up. So we're going to head over to, let me make this a bit smaller. And we're going to start going here to the EFB. Now, the EFB is actually something I do like in this aircraft. I think it's done. What's wrong with SimToolkit Pro? There we go. All right, so I think it's done quite well. It helps you operate the aircraft to a reasonable extent. You know, you've got your chocks, the ground power unit, cabin lights. You can toggle the state of the aircraft. So you can open the doors, call the pushback truck. Your payload sheet is here, fuel, and then your takeoff data is here. And then we've got the sound, so you can actually toggle the sounds here from within the FB. And then you have a few options here where you can go from pounds. I believe we are in pounds today. I think everything here is in pounds. So let's switch this to pounds. Let me verify that just very quickly because we don't want to enter incorrect values. So I'm just going to make sure that the SimBrief plan has SimBrief. All right, so flight planning. We're just going to make sure that the everything is in pounds. All right, perfect. So everything is in pounds, just to double check that. All right, so the first thing we want to do, we're going to come here to the payload sheet, and we're going to check our payload here in the SimBrief flight plan. And we're going to select 24.4. So we're going to come here and 24.4, 24.4, and load. And that will automatically take care of that for us. And for the fuel, 8.4. So 8,400 pounds of fuel. And we're going to say fuel. There we go. And now it's doing its thing. And of course, the takeoff data will change in real time based on the information that we enter in the payload and fuel sections of the electronic flight bag. Perfect. Hello, Drishal. Welcome aboard, my friend. Hector. Hello, Hector. How are you doing, my friend? It's been a while. How have you been? All right. So now we are ready to get the aircraft powered up. So we're going to head over here to the overhead panel, and we can see that the GPU is available. So we're going to go ahead and turn it on. Battery 1, battery 2, and again, very nice sound set for the knobs. Again, they're all the same, so nothing is... I would have liked to have a little different sounds for different knobs and switches just for immersion's sake, but that's okay. All right, so we're going to cancel the master caution. CVR, DVDR test, all that good stuff is done. And here we're going to sterile cockpit, no smoking, fasten seatbelt signs. Emergency lights are armed. Everything here looks good. Coming here to the center overhead panel. And we're going to start the, we're going to turn on, no need for any of the lights here. So we're going to go ahead and turn on the APU, start, and that will take care of it for us. Excellent. And then we're going to come here to the hydraulic panel, set the electrical pump A to the on position, and everything else here is good. Excellent. So we are good. Now, the MCDU aboard this aircraft is it's a little different than what we have seen in the X-Craft model. And thank you very much, SimFanatic, just coming in with a gifted membership here. Thank you very much, Swedish Aviator. Please make sure you say thank you to SimFanatic. SimFanatic, thank you very much again for your support, sir. I appreciate it. And ladies and gents, Ricardo, the developer of the aircraft, is here with us in chat. Hello, Ricardo. Thank you very much for making it to the stream. I'm glad to have you here. Thank you very much, sir. So, guys, Ricardo is here to answer any questions that you may have. Now, the MCDU here is a little different from what we've seen with the X-Craft model. So in the X-Craft model, we've had two versions, the authentic FMS, as well as the Triptonic, I think. And they are, and this one is a little different. It's got resemblance of both, but let's go ahead and get things ready. First thing here is the radio. Then we're going to go to the flight plan. We're going to check the nav data. There is a text here that runs over the type, as you can see, but everything is good. And if you are not sure how to create the AIRAC database for this aircraft, just look over my latest Navigraph tutorial. It should be very easy to set it up. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to go to position init. And we're going to load the first one here. That's the last position. And now we can go to the route. The origin is, we're going to bring up our SimToolkit Pro plan. And we're going to go back up here to the flight plan. There we go. Here's our flight plan. And the origin is, let me zoom in so you guys can, if you want to go back and look at this stream, you can find it easy to read. Okay, so we are at Sierra Bravo Foxtrot Lima. So Sierra Bravo Foxtrot Lima. And the destination is Sierra Bravo Kilo Papa. Sierra Bravo Kilo Papa. And the alternate would be, let's check here. SBGR. SBGR. And that's our alternate airport. The flight ID today is Azul 4410. 4410. That's your flight ID. Excellent. And now we can activate the flight plan. Hello there, TFK's Linux Gaming. Thomas. Hello, Thomas. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you here. And we have also Marcio. Hello, Marcio. Welcome aboard. I'm doing very well. Thanks for asking. Is this E195 the newer version of the SST E195? That would be correct. Yes. It would be the upgraded version. And the company is now... FPS, or Flight Procedures Simulation, is formerly known as SSG. Good evening to you, Alex. Welcome, my friend. All right. So let's go ahead and activate. And the next thing is we're going to go for the departure. And from the departure, we're going to select the runway. And we are going to be departing today runway 32 through the Budu 1 Bravo. Budu 1 Bravo, that's the one there. Through the INSUG transition. And we have all of that done. Apply. Excellent. And now we can enter the rest of our flight plan. So from INSUG, we're going to fly direct to Askol. So that's Askol. Enter that here. Beautiful. Then direct to Timbru. Timru is done. And then it would be our arrival. Now, the arrival, you're not going to add it here, so you can't add the arrival here. So we'll just go ahead and activate this, and then we're going to go to the performance in it now. Now, performance in it has got 3 pages, so we're going to go to the next page, and this is where we can input our cruise altitude, which is for this flight 350 or 35,000. And the cruise winds for the flight is going to be 248.33, 248.33. Excellent. And step climb, we're just going to put 2,000 for the step climb. You don't need it, but I'm just going to put it there. ESA deviation is 6, positive 6, so 0.6. Oops. And by the way, you have to put the 2 digits, so you can't just put 6. It has to be 0.6. And we have that there. And the takeoff CG is something we get here. So 18.3 for the takeoff CG. 18.3. Excellent. And now we have the performance initialization set. Hello, Rand Cooley. Welcome aboard, my friend. I was wondering where you were. Yeah, welcome. Hello, Matt. Welcome, Matt. Yeah, it's been a while. How have you been, my friend? Glad to have you here. All right. And we have also with us V2 plus 10. How are you doing, my friend? Okay. So we're going to go now to the next page. This is all good. Excellent. Next here, we have the thrust rating. We can go here. We're going to derate our takeoff to 17K here. That's good. Everything here is good. We're going to go to the takeoff data. And next here, runway heading is good. Everything here looks good to me. No worries there. And we're going to go to the next page. We're going to do flaps. So if we go here, we did the flaps. Actually, we're going to use this one here. So we're going to use flaps 2 for departure. Flaps 2. There we go. Flaps 2 is set. And then we're going to go to the next page. And this is where we're going to enter our speeds. So the speeds are 130, 134, 140, 130, and then 134, and then 140, 193, 140, 193. Excellent. That is also now done. And then if we go to the climb, that's okay. Cruise is okay. 35,000. Everything here looks good. We're going to go to the descent. And we have the descent profile here as well. We don't really need to do anything with those pages. So we're good. Doing great. I'm doing very well. Thank you. Captain Abdurrahman, Saudi Air Force. Hello, my friend. Welcome aboard. We're going to go to the arrival. And now we're going to select the arrival. You see how I like how the FMS flows, and you just kind of as soon as you enter one step and you just kind of cycle through here and you go through the entire phase of setting up your flight plan. I like the flow of it. I think it's very intuitive, very easy to understand. All right, so here, and by the way, we can go to the flight plan list and we can add fixes and things like that. We'll take a look at that in a minute, or once we're airborne. All right, so we are going to select the star. The star is the Chimru 1 Alpha, which is this one here, and through the Chimru transition. And then we are going to select the ILS 15 Zulu. Okay, and then if you look here at our flight plan, you will see that we have a transition, which is Kilo Papa 104 from our star, which is this one here. So this is ILS 15 Zulu, Kilo Papa 104. So we're going to select that transition and say apply. And now we can go to the flight plan list and check if there are any discontinuities. So there is, looks like one here, and we're going to clear that and activate. Brilliant. That is now set. And now there are no more discontinuities, and we are through with entering the flight plan and all the information required for our flight. Let's see here. First officer's side, show FO, link barrow, If I remove this, will it fixes the... Looks like there is an issue with the barrow. So that's something that probably needs fixing. It's showing standard, and no matter what I do, it doesn't really do anything. Ah, there we go. Now it worked. Let's see. Why is it not working? That's really strange. Because it doesn't change using the... Let's see. Ah, you have to do it that way. All right. Now it works. Okay. So let me set the barrow while we're at it. And by the way, so far, everything you see here, we're going to take a look at the systems very quickly just to show you what's been simulated. And I was actually very impressed with the depth of system simulation in this aircraft. And you guys will be able to see that in just a minute here as we depart. All right, let me put this away. We can actually go here and just get the weather information. We want the barrow, which is showing 1029er. So maybe we switch this. All right, there, 1029er. All right, there we go. 1029er is set. And let's see, can we actually link them? Yeah, let's link them. And now we can see 1029er is set. Okay, perfect. All right. So now before we're actually ready now to start the engines. We can actually disconnect the GPU and we can disconnect the chocks as well. But before we actually begin, one thing to note is you do have your profile here. So as you can see here, we have a beautiful profile plotted here. So that is fully simulated. And TCAS is not simulated. Weather is not simulated, but you can pick it here. So from this menu, you can actually select the weather. You can select your terrain radar as well, or you can turn it off. From the plan menu here, you can select your nav IDs, aircraft is centered, waypoint centered, all of that good stuff. Let me turn this down a little bit. There we go. Now you can see the flight plan a little better. And then from the systems perspective, you have your flight control page, hydraulics, fuel, electrical, ECS, anti-ice, all simulated. So all of these pages are available. We're going to put this on the map page here, and we're going to decrease the range a little bit. There we go. So in terms of the systems, we do have everything simulated properly, and it actually functions very well. And hello, Mika. Welcome, my friend. Glad to have you here. It does the... Hey, why Cliff Barrett? I love the Embraer, but they just do everything kind of backward and not intuitive. Actually, Wycliffe, the strange thing is, it is probably the high... In terms of automation, it is probably the most automated aircraft that I have flown. And we will witness this today. You can actually, once you take off, you don't really do anything. The aircraft takes off, climbs, cruises, descends, and the only thing you really have to do is really take off and landing, and everything else is done by the aircraft's autopilot system. And this is something very, very special about the Embraer, and I think it's a very well-built aircraft. All right. So we've got everything here. We're going to set our altitude to 35,000 feet, which is our final cruise altitude today. 35,000 is now set, as you can see here. And everything else is actually ready to go. So we are going to set the auto brake to rejected takeoff. And we can now call the pushback truck and get out of... our position. No, that's ground services, pushback. There we go. And we can just release the parking brake. We can actually, let me see here. Let me remove this. Let's try to use better pushback. Let's see here, start push.
Roger to cockpit. Please show me where you want to go, sir.
Okay, sir. Right, if you can just set us up right here.
Pushback failure.
All right.
Your flight controls are preventing me from steering the aircraft. Unbind any buttons you have set to toggle nose wheel steering.
Okay. Let's take a look outside here. That's okay. All right. Well, never mind. We'll just use the pushback truck. In fact, we'll just use whatever they have here. So we're going to release the parking brake. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. And we're pushing back out of our position. And good time to start our engines. So we're going to open the cover and run, start, starting the first engine. We're going to use the rudder pedals here to steer the aircraft. Very nice looking aircraft, the Embraer. Actually, the modeling is not bad. Yeah. Airbus is Embraer. Pretty much, yeah. I mean, there is a lot of resemblance between the two aircraft in terms of the automation, level of automation, without a doubt. All right, here we go. And excellent. And we can stop the pushback now. And we're going to set the parking brake. Oh, ooh. All right. And kill the pushback. All right, so we are ready here. Let's start the engine number 1. And close the guard. We have a good start on the first engine. Here's a look. And the second engine is coming up. Again, you can see that the textures aren't the greatest, but nonetheless, it looks acceptable in my view. All right, so we have a good start on the second engine now. Steering is off. Everything is looking good. And we're good to taxi to the runway. So we're going to turn on the nose wheel on. Nose wheel lights. Nav, we needed the red beacon as well. So everything here looks good to me. All right, and we can now head over to the runway. We're going to set flaps 2 for takeoff, and parking brake is released, and we're good to go. Let's go to the radio here, and we're going to set the TARA just in advance because I have a tendency to forget, and we're going to turn on the timer as well. All right, here we go. Let's go. Yeah, look at it. I must say that it looks very nice. The Embraer, generally speaking, is an aircraft that I like. I like the looks of it. All right, let's make the turn here. Almost there on the... We probably broke all the lights. All right, there we go. Now, overall, setting up the aircraft, the rendition, the depth of the aircraft systems, I think is done to a very high standard. Just press the AT and the toga. Yeah, gotcha there. I'll set them, Ricardo, as soon as we are... But on the way to the runway, I'll set all of these guys. All right, here we go. All right, let's give it some power here. It's doing some strange things there on the ground. All right. Is this steering? Steering is off, isn't it? Ah, there we go. I was wondering why it's not doing what it's supposed to do, and that was my bad. Okay, so we're taxiing to the runway. All right, now for the departure, we are going to make sure the flight director is on. We are going to turn on nav. Now you see LNAV showing up here in the FMA. And we also are going to click on auto throttle. AT is, now you can see it blinking. We're also going to use VNAV, and now it says VNAV, and you can see the first restriction there already set. And this is what you'd expect to see in the Embraer cockpit after you have done the setup correctly. So now we have everything set up correctly for our departure. Hello there, Shocktide. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you here. All right. Q8, would you say this aircraft price reflects the quality? I feel like X-Craft are way overpriced for what they offer. Well, so in terms of the visuals, the X-Craft model looks slightly better than this one, I have to say. But so far, in terms of the systems, I'm not going to spoil it, but you guys just watch with me what's going to happen. By the way, the speed, the FMS speed here, we can use the FMS speed. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to set the speed manually to 100 and... oof, we're going a little too fast. Let me set the speed to about 180. All right. But the nice thing about this particular Embraer is that the FMS speed, it works exactly as it should. So we're going to take a look at that in just a minute here as we enter the runway. All right. The landing lights are on. And the nose lights are on. All the lights are on. Strobe lights are on. There we go. Runway 32 for departure. Looks like started raining just now. And look at how beautiful this scene is. And by the way, this is all default stuff. All default. All right. So we are now ready to go. The rotation speed is 134 knots. Yeah, look at that. Nice. Again, the flap indentation is nice. Again, you can see some flaws there in the texturing, but nothing too bad in my view. All right, we are cleared for takeoff. Runway 32. We're gonna engage the toga after we reach about 50%. So there we go. And then we hit the toga button here. And there we go. Now check what happens here. You've got the takeoff, roll, and you've got the blinks there going on. We should see the hold in a little while. Hold. That is the correct behavior of the Embraer.
80 knots.
80 knots, check. 134 is the departure or the rotation speed. There's an aircraft on the runway. All right, V1. Rotate.
VR. V2.
Auto brake.
All right, and we are airborne. Positive rate of climb. Gear is going up. Yeah, look at that. All right. So now what's going to happen here, and I want you to pay careful attention to what happens next. We are now departing. We have retracted the landing gear, and we are at 1,000 feet, so we can engage the autopilot. There we There we go. All right, so autopilot is engaged. Now you see LNAV flight change. So now the aircraft's computer is actually taking care of everything for us. And I am going to switch the speed to the FMS speed. There we go. All right, so now we're going to go for the FMS speed. And I'm going to retract our flaps. Flaps 1. And now the aircraft is going to follow the speeds that are in the FMS and not the speed that I've set here. So you can see that it's... what is it doing now? All right, let me take over a little bit here. Not sure exactly what has happened, but that's okay. Let's disengage the autopilot. You know, I've done this flight like earlier this morning without any problems. Did we? No, the auto throttle should still be there. But let's see here. All right. All right, something. Now it can see the flight plan. And it should take it back to 220. And if we leave that now. Okay, so is the autopilot engaged? Looks like it is engaged now. Yeah. I think it's the flight path itself. Let me put this up here a little bit. Yeah, there we go. And now the aircraft is going to follow the speed from within the FMS, so we don't. It's not going to. Oof! What happened here? Looks like I lost my iPad. All right, so now I'm going to retract the flaps, and it doesn't look like it's following the. All right, let me go to nav. VNav. All right, I'm not exactly sure what is happening. Overspeed. All right. Let me disengage the autopilot altogether. All right, so the autopilot seems to have disengaged for some reason. And it has engaged again now. Now it looks like it's doing what it's supposed to do. Again, those things happen on stream only, guys. For some reason, they just happen on stream. All right. So now everything is looking good here in terms of the autopilot system, I suppose. And actually, why don't we just go to... Yeah, looks like everything is good now. Sorry, I lost the chat there for a little while. Wouldn't it be a Q8 stream without a... Yeah, all right. So the autopilot is on now. Everything you can see here, AP, and now it's following the path again. The restriction at 6,000. So I'm not sure what happened earlier, but things like that do happen. Roberto, good evening, my friend. Welcome aboard. Yeah, that was my bad, Ricardo. Yeah. All right. So now we are we still have a restriction, so we need to be below 6,000, and the aircraft is currently respecting that. We are at 5,900, and we're going to begin the climb shortly. You can see the climb and descent profile here, showing everything is exactly as it should in terms of the aircraft systems. So everything's looking good. And the speed is now the FMS speed. So whatever is dialed here, and by the way, to pop this up, you click the screw, and then that's the left CDU for you. And can we make it bigger? We sure can. So now we can see here the speed is 240, and that's exactly the speed we see here. So it is actually following the speed of the now flight change. You see this here, it says speed. So now it's increasing the speed a little bit to 250, and now you can see the climb. The aircraft is climbing to the next restriction, which is 16,000. So we need to be below 16,000 feet. That's the next restriction. And now we can make this maybe a little bigger so you guys can see. There we go. Yeah. So we've got the restriction there at 16,000, and the aircraft continues now to climb. And everything is exactly as it should. LNAV and flight change, and those are the modes that are armed when in magenta. And this is the current selected speed by the FMS. So everything is working exactly as it should. Excellent. Now, if you recall, all right, so we're approaching 10,000. We're going to remove fasten seatbelt sign. And we're going to kill these lights here. We'll leave the nav strobe and the beacon lights and the takeoff lights as well. Landing lights are also off. Okay. So why is the aircraft not turning? The aircraft is not turning. All right, it's turning now. All right, I just did a direct to force the aircraft to turn. All right, so we're going to fly direct to the next waypoint here. And now we can see it on the... I'm not sure why it hasn't followed the plan. So autopilot is obviously... Any reason why this is not following the correct path? L2, the L at again. Activate. All right, there we go. Still not doing what it's supposed to do. Execute, okay. Still not going there. Strange. Hit FMC and see if it helps. Well, I mean, we have it here. All right, so let's do one thing. Let's select this one. And activate that. Very strange. There we go, LNAV. The source is definitely FMS1. Yes, that's correct. All right, now we're working. All right, my bad, guys. All right, so LNAV, those things always happen when on stream for some reason. I don't know why, guys, but I've never had any issues with this aircraft for the many test flights that I've done, except now when we're in stream. It says not on intercept heading. Why is that? All right, let me do one thing, guys. Let me come to heading select. All right, I'm gonna go to heading select, and then we'll engage LNAV, VNAV. Not a perfect world. Yep, absolutely. Your OBS is cursed with bad luck. All right. Looking here. Let's do it further. All right, we're still in heading mode, and let's see. Continuing our climb. The best way is to make a direct to waypoint. That's what we did, Ricardo. We did it so many times now. I think we can select this waypoint here and activate. There we go. And now we go to nav. All right, let's see if that works. Hopefully that's the end of our troubles with the autopilot. And by the way, these are all the stuff that you've seen, guys, is pilot induced. Clear the scratch. Okay, let's clear that. All right, scratch is cleared. And we continue our climb. Headwind today, yeah. The best way is to make, yeah. All right, so we are now climbing to 35,000 feet. So far, so good. Again, I like the fact that the FMS speed is modeled with the auto throttle. So that works exactly as it should. It takes the speed from the FMS. All the errors that you've seen are probably pilot induced. So they've got nothing to do with the aircraft. So I was doing probably some errors. And it is quite sensitive. So let's see now. L4 should be the next waypoint in about 4.3 nautical miles. And now the autopilot should work as it should. You can see now this has changed to Mach, 0.65 Mach. And now the aircraft is making the turn. And now everything is working exactly as it should. And I love the fact that everything is simulated. Now, one thing that I've noticed, now, by the way, in Xcraft, this doesn't work exactly like it works here. So the FMS speed is not modeled yet. And so what you have to do there is to manually set your speeds. This is a big difference between the Xcraft and the FPS Embraer, where you can see that this is fully modeled, works exactly as it should. Another thing that I've noticed is the on descent, the actual Embraer in real life picks up the ILS frequency about 50 nautical miles from the destination. While this aircraft doesn't do it at exactly 50 nautical miles, but as you get closer to the airport, it will actually automatically tune the ILS. So you don't really have to do anything after you take off other than make sure you don't do what I've done with the autopilot. It is now on track, Ricardo, yeah. So well, let's increase the range here so we can see. There we go. Maybe that's a little too much. Maybe there we go. All right, so that's the top of climb. We can see it here, and we have our profile here. So it will automatically pick up the ILS frequency when you are approximately 20 nautical miles or so from the airport, which is another thing that is missing in the X-Craft version. So in terms of VNAV, LNAV, the FMS speed, the auto throttle, I have found the FPS model to be more accurate in the simulation of systems. And that's my experience and my honest feedback. So from the visuals, I think the X-Craft model wins, hands down. And from the systems perspective, I feel that the FPS model really wins in terms of APU. What is wrong with the APU? Oh, the APU is not off. There we go. Looks like we ran the fuel off the APU. All right, and folks, look at how beautiful the aircraft is here as we climb through our cruise altitude, 35,000 feet. Lots and lots of clouds today. And here is a flyby. Now that we've settled the problems with the autopilot and we know the aircraft is flying. By the way, we're using Active Sky today for the flight. And we can see now this is blinking, showing 35,000, which is, again, what we expect to see before we level off. I think care more about systems than graphics, so it looks like the FPS is better for me. Drashal, as much as I love X-Craft, and I've been a beta developer, beta tester of the X-Craft model, and I provided numerous feedback and advice to them, so I feel a little bit kind of involved in that project. I have to be honest with you guys and tell you that from a systems perspective, I find the flight procedure simulation Embraer E-195 to offer more depth in system simulation than the X-Craft model. Has everything that works exactly as it should on the Embraer. Again, guys, the problems that you saw in the beginning are pilot induced, so they are induced by myself. But everything else here works exactly as it should. I love the fact that it just, you put the FMS here and you don't have to worry about anything. Now, that said, the caveat is that the speeds in your FMS are correct. So if it reads, for example, an erroneous speed, then it will obviously go to that speed because it's going to read what you're asking it to go to, so whatever is there. But everything else works exactly as it should, and that is something I really appreciate in this FPS model. If you ask me for my recommendation, which model I would recommend, so if you don't have the X-Craft, let's suppose that you do not have the X-Craft model, and you have the option of buying one or the other, I would definitely, at this point, and given the state of this aircraft in terms of the systems and X-Craft, I would definitely pick this one because it has more depth in system simulation and it costs a little less. So the sounds, the visuals of the X-Craft model is better, but then it comes at a much higher price of $75. So it really depends on what you want. If you want the nice visuals, the X-Craft model may work better for you. By the way, I'm not saying that the X-Craft model is not good. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying that this aircraft has a better simulation of the Embraer systems as opposed to the X-Craft model. In terms of the enjoyment, I enjoy both of them. The visuals, obviously, you can see that the texturing of this aircraft is not bad. It's not bad, but it's not as good as the X-Craft model, where the resolution, the attention to detail is far better than the FPS model. All right, so we're going to take a look at the rest of the flight and how things actually pan out during our flight. So far, the systems of the aircraft is doing what the aircraft is supposed to do. How does it compare to the FSS and MSFS? Again, what do you want to talk about? Are you talking about the systems or the visuals? From the visuals perspective, without a doubt, the FSS model in Microsoft Flight Simulator wins. But in terms of systems, again, the system simulated on this aircraft is better, in my opinion. And then you have it here, so you can actually see for yourself that the systems here. Yeah, you've got your pop-ups for sure. So guys, if you want to pop up these screens, you can. You can click here on the screw, as you can see here. And let me just move a little to the side. And then we can pop this one as well. MFD Synoptics. I'm not sure why it's not showing there. Then you've got this one here, so you can pop up all your screens by clicking on the screws. Ricardo, I'm not sure why these are not showing. And then for the FMS, you just click on the screw and you'll get it as well. So again, very, very nice in terms of usability. You've got all of this good stuff here. I personally, by the way, I don't do a lot of pop-ups. Normally what I like to do is I like to just zoom in. I think it's just easier for me to, to manipulate things while by zooming in rather than, popping out the screens. So we are looking good. We can see the progress here. Everything is looking in tip-top shape. And by the way, this is not a very long flight. So if I come here and that's the top of descent. So what we're going to do is very quickly, we're going to go to our approach. So this is our flight today. And this is the arrival at Viracopos International. We're going to select the approach, which is the 15 Zulu. So let's bring that up on the map. And if we look here, there's 6,000, 4,000, about 3,700. So we need about 3,800, 3,700 is fine. So what we're going to do is in a minute, we can see, by the way, top of descent. Let me just bring this up here. So you guys, that one is the one we can't see. Yeah, I'm not sure why we can't see that one. We have a new subscriber, FCB Caliber. Welcome aboard, my friend. Glad to have you here, joining the Q8Pilot family. And yeah, so top of descent is coming up very soon, and the initial approach altitude is 3,700. And as a reminder for everyone, the Q8Pilot channel is a Navigraph, is powered by Navigraph. Here's a look at the wing views for you guys. Sounds are not bad. They're okay. Maybe the sounds in the X-Craft model are slightly better in my view. But I do like the systems in this aircraft a lot better than the X-Craft model. The synoptic for select on one in the MFD. Okay. So what do I do here? I think I see something up here, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. Ah, there we go. All right, so if we... Ah, there we go. Gotcha, Ricardo. Got you, my friend. All right, so now we can select whatever you need to select something so that you see it here. I see. Gotcha. And obviously we can select the plan. The plan doesn't show, but the systems show. Okay, gotcha. All right. So the aircraft is now doing what it's supposed to do. We see the LNAV, the ALT, the AP, the auto throttle. This changes correctly. Again, all of this stuff, again, we saw in the X-Craft model as well. But I just love the fact that the auto throttle and the FMS speeds are modeled here and simulated. So that's a big thing. That's a big thing in the Embraer. I left the like. Good flight. Well, thank you, GXGX. Appreciate it. All right. So we're looking good here. And, yeah. Let's switch to the external view. Yeah, look at it. It's a pretty nice looking aircraft. The clouds look a lot better with active sky. So what do you guys think so far? It's pretty cool, isn't it? The plans and map, because a technical issue between plugins sharing into XP, we can't simulate for a while. Too heavy. I see. Got you, Ricardo. Makes sense, yeah. All right. We're looking good, folks, and we are not too far from the top of descent mark. As you can see here, it says next to 54 nautical miles. We're just about 230 nautical miles from our destination. So, yeah, overall, I think I like this aircraft, and definitely it receives my my Q8Pilot seal of approval. It's an aircraft that really simulates the Embraer quite well. So if you are into the simulation of the Embraer, I think this aircraft really offers a lot in terms of system simulation, and you will definitely enjoy flying it. It has a really nice feel to it, minus the textures, and I hope that Ricardo would spend some time really on the textures, because I think it's very important. Textures and the sounds, especially the cockpit. The cockpit needs to have better textures without a doubt, and maybe nicer sounds, or perhaps maybe a collaboration between FPS and BSS to create a sound pack for the aircraft. But overall, it's a really good... it's really a very good aircraft in my view. So if I were to give it a rating today in terms of looking at the aircraft modeling, the texturing, the depth of system simulation, overall I would give it a 7.5 out of 10. That would be my score at this point. And the score is only reduced because of the textures and the sounds. So with those, I think if we get the textures and sounds right, I'll tell you guys, this is probably going to be the very best Embraer for flight sim. It's going to be really the Embraer to fly in flight sim, because it really is that good in terms of system simulation. And you'll see that also as we reach our top of descent and arrive into our destination. I guessed 8. You were pretty close there, Rand. I think, Rand, with the years, I mean, you've been a sub with the channel since I think at the point where I had 500 subscribers. I think that's when you became a subscriber on the channel, and through all the interactions and all the videos that you've seen, I think you pretty much read my mind now. So you'll probably know when, even if I'm not doing a review of an aircraft, I think you would know what I would say about it. I speak Q8, yeah, absolutely. I was a sub since XP10. Oh, well, Mika, well, thank you for your support, my friend. Yeah, that was a long time ago. Yeah. A lot of you guys are subs from a very, very long time, and I really thank you guys for, you know, sticking by me and supporting me. And I was actually surprised to see many of the people who walked to me at FS Expo, who walked to the booth, were actually very long-time subscribers of the channel, because they all remembered that I stopped for a while and then I came back. And most of the guys actually were those guys that came and stopped to say hello, were very long-time subscribers of the channel. So, so it was very humbling to see all these people come in, you know, and say hello and say thank you and things like that. It was pretty cool. We call them day oneers. Yeah, day oneers. That's nice. Probably like 7 years now. Yeah. Oh, thank you very much, Rishal. I appreciate it, my friend. Yeah, it's been that long. Hey, Roberto Fly Lilo. Sorry about the phone call, Roberto. I had a family thing to do today. At the time we decided to do it, but we'll schedule it and we'll chat. No worries there. Best channel on the net. TFK Linux Gaming, thank you very much for your kind words, sir. I appreciate it. That's very kind of you guys. Thank you very much. I really, truly appreciate everything that you've done for the channel and for me personally. I've made a lot of very good friends. I'm kind of missing Stan today, to be honest. But I did make a lot of very good friends throughout the course of my content creation career on YouTube. And I'm quite thankful for that. And the channel keeps growing and good things are on the way. So I am quite content with you know, with everything that's happening. It's just really, you guys can't imagine how much joy this hobby has given me and how much joy you guys collectively have brought into my life, and it has become really you know, a part of my life, really, to create content and to Stan and Carl. Yeah, Stan and Carl, I'm not sure what's up with them. MCDU, hello, my friend. Welcome aboard. You have made me open my wallet many times to do your excellent, honest aircraft reviews over the years. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure I did. I'm sure I did. Yeah. So, folks, again, just back on the FPS, this is the again, formerly known as SSG. I think this Embraer is seriously can be the best Embraer for a flight sim, just with a little bit of touches on the texturing, sounds, and it'll be #1 because the systems are spot on, really. I'm like so much your channel, not fluent in English, but I can't understand 90% of what you said. Oh, but you can understand 90%. Oh, well, that's great, Edward. And welcome aboard, my friend. I'm very glad that you're here. And yeah, Roberto, hopefully we can meet at FS Expo next year. Absolutely. I'm definitely going to be there. And next year, guys, I am going to be a diamond sponsor of FS Expo. I think the guys really deserve, and the flight sim community deserves the support. And so I'm very happy to support it. And I'm going to let you in on a sort of a thing we agreed. It's something we've agreed offline. I've spoke to Evan, one of the organizers and the founders of Flight Sim Association. So next year, there is going to be a dedicated booth for content creators, and I might or might not, depending on how that pans out, either sponsor that booth or have my own booth. If they, if that idea does not materialize, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have several booths. So my spot, I'm going to pick like a bigger booth, and then I'm going to invite other content creators to come. People like, it's Chewy, Captain Canada, Blue Games, XP72. So they'll have a hub where they can actually be there and people can come and say hello to them. And one thing I think I've done wrong this year at the expo that I want to correct next year is because I had a booth, I spent so much time at the booth because it was very busy. The booth was actually very busy. I had a lot of people come to say hello, and I didn't want to disappoint anyone. But then that gave me very little time to actually try things out and speak to the developers and really enjoy what's out there for us to enjoy as a flight simmer. So I'm going to do a little bit of both. And by the way, Stan did a brilliant job supporting me during that time. So the little that I was able to actually test out was thanks to Stan because he was there to help. So that's something I'm going to do a little different next year. Gustavo Rodriguez, welcome, my friend. Glad to have you here. Thank you very much for being a member and for your support. All right, so we're getting close to top of descent. So you can see TD is in about 44. Let me show you here. Let me just zoom in. So top of descent is in 44.4 nautical miles. And what we're going to do is we're going to reset the alt select now. So we're going to go down to 3,700. 3,000. And that's all you need to do. And it will automatically begin the descent at the top of descent point. And if we come down here, I'm going to leave this, by the way, here, so we'll be able to see the frequency change as well. But we can go to performance, and if we go to landing, and now we have the landing approach flap is 2, the landing flap is flap full, so we're going to do flap full today. And then if we go to the next page, you see that we have our speeds already here, the VREF, VAP, and so this is for landing 123, and there we go. We're going to confirm these speeds. So VREF is 123 and VAP is 128, so everything is set here. And we are good. Excellent. Let me clear that. That's not found there. All right. So all is good. And now the only thing we need to do is wait for the aircraft to begin the descent at the top of descent point, which is in about 34 nautical miles. And ladies and gents, Alex just came in with 5 gifted Q8Pilot memberships. Thank you so much, Alex, for your kind support. And guys, please, if you've received a gifted membership from Alex, please be sure to say hello. You're a real sport, Alex. Thank you very much for your continued support. I really appreciate it very much. Thank you. That is very, very kind of you. You have been really gifting a lot of membership. You, Simfanatic, and Carl. Carl is just gone, he's gone mad with the memberships. Yeah, I really appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for all the support. I appreciate it very, very much. All right. So here's top of descent. And shortly, we're going to begin the descent. Skies are clear now. And actually, look at the terrain below. It doesn't actually look bad. From a higher altitude, looks all right. There we go. Alrighty. Let's decrease the range. And now we can see this is the top of descent. And let's see what the aircraft does at the top of descent point. Thank you very much, Alex. Really appreciate it. Very, very kind of you, sir. Alrighty, here's top of descent, and let's do a flyby here real quick. Brilliant. Oh, yeah. Man, this replay system, you know, is one of the things that got me hooked on X-Plane, by the way. I love that replay system. Here's a wing view. I'm still, by the way, going to be doing the stream aboard the Flight FX Cirrus Jet on Saturday, so I'm going to take a break tomorrow. I know I've done 3 streams in a row, so I'm going to be taking a break tomorrow from streaming and content creation, everything. I'm just going to have a day off and relax, and then I will be back at... on Saturday evening at the same time, and we're going to be doing the Cirrus Jet, and we're going to be flying in Europe, looks like, based on the members' voted option. So most members want me to still fly in Europe. There are a couple of good routes that were suggested, so I'm going to pick one of them. Yeah, shift 1 is the slow flyby, and that's correct, Alex. And shift 2 is the faster one, for those of you who do not know. 3 streams a day was such a treat. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Mika, and thank you very much. Roberta, you definitely need to fly. You definitely need to test out X-Plane. Definitely. It's got a lot of excellent aircraft. And the one that I'm really itching now to stream is the 747-200 by Felis. After the latest updates, it's just the virtual cockpit is just looking absolutely gorgeous. Very, very good aircraft. Very good aircraft. One of the best. All right, so here we go. Top of descent in 5 nautical miles. We're doing okay. And here, if we go... actually, that is a nice view right there. Yeah. By the way, the textures are not that bad. You know, they're okay. Yeah, look at that. They're okay. They just need work. They just need work. Yeah. Yeah, if you haven't tried X-Plane Roberto, I think you really need to check it out. And if you need any help, you can always shoot me a message on Discord. I'll be more than happy to do a screen share with you. And as you can see, ladies and gents, LNAV, path, and the aircraft has begun the descent at exactly the top of descent mark. And now we're looking at 220. I just want to come back here to the flight plan, and I want to make sure the speeds. Let's look. So the speed here is 290, 290, 250, 141, 128, 123. All right, so that looks good. All right, so we verified that. Everything's looking good. Excellent. And we continue now the climb. There is a restriction. We need to be above 19,000. So that's the first restriction. But everything else is looking good. We might switch between manual speed and FMS speed. But for now, we'll just use the FMS speed. And we'll continue our descent. Let's very quickly grab the weather information at our destination. So we're going to go to the information, go for the weather here. The current weather is 147 knot wind, cloud and visibility okay. Current temperature is 24. The altimeter is 1026. And if we hide the weather, there isn't anything, any weather alerts or anything like that. So if we look here, now it says that the transition level is by ATC. All right. So does anyone know what is the transition altitude in our destination? All right. So what we can do is we can go to Sim Toolkit Pro. Thrust such simulations. How are you doing, my friend? All right, let's go to Restore Flight. And now if we go to, let's see here. Flight Summary. And if we go to our destination, the transition altitude is 8,000 feet. Perfect. All right, so 8,000 and 1026. Excellent. All right, perfect. We continue the descent. Everything's looking good. Turn off the tablet, then set the AviTab icon. All right, so we can do that. Let's see. We can turn that off. Ah, how cool is that? Oh, that's very cool. And obviously we have all the charts. Here, if we go, there's map, airports. So is this, I think this might be... Yeah, all right, we've got it. All right, we've got all our charts here. Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah. So we have full AviTab integration. That's really cool, Ricardo. I didn't know that. Oh, your house is right below. IFR Captain. Hello, my friend. The approach chart, Thomas, does not have the transition. It says transition level by ATC. So there are some airports. So let me show you here. So here, this is the actual chart. This is the arrival, our arrival into our destination airport. And as you can see here, it says right here, it says transition level by ATC. So normally they'll give you the most airports, you'll see the transition level here, but in this specific arrival, you'd have to get it from ATC. So, and thus, I had to go and consult other means to find out what was the actual transition altitude. Right, we continue our descent, still looking good. By the way, folks, one thing I forgot to show you is, let's go next. So Sipsu is the last one. All right. So if we go to, not performance, but not menu, flight, let's see next, Sipsu, no, RTE data, RTE, flight plan list. No, that's not it. Is it nav? Now, there we go. So from the nav menu, we can go to fix information. And we can add here SIBSO. So SEBSO. Right? Not found. What was the... All right, let me come here. Flight plan. What was it? It's with a U. Okay. So let's clear that. SU. Add that. And now we can do exactly what you do with the Airbus. So if we look here at the actual approach, so let's go quickly here and go to the approach, the ILS-Z, and the approach is 149. So we're going to put 149, 149, and then we're going to add, let's say 10 nautical miles, and add this here. And now we have our circle right here. Look at that. Again, that is simulated beautifully, and that's something I really like as well. And we continue the descent. Everything is in tip-top shape, and the aircraft is doing exactly what it should. We're going to watch again. By the way, do you see this now has changed from Mach speed? We can see that this is the actual speed in the FMS. So if I come here to flight plan, you'll see that this is the actual speed in the FMC or FMS 290. So this is the speed that we have here, which is correct. We can actually do that and take you here to the plan. And now from the plan, again, you can see everything here works exactly as it should. Perfect. 18,000 feet for 3,700. And we're looking good. The VSD is really, really good. Yeah, really, really good. They really nailed it. I mean, they've nailed everything that relates to the operation of the autopilot and the main displays of the aircraft. I think they've done a really good job. Good work, Ricardo, really on this aircraft. I salute your commitment and your tenacity in making this aircraft. And I know that it's not easy to program these things. So really, job well done. Good work. Really good work. All right, 16,000. We're almost there now, folks. And by the way, just before we arrive, the arrival runway, runway 15 at our destination, has a problem with the terrain. It's got like a big bump at the threshold point of the runway. Like the contour doesn't look right. So we're going to have to slightly go over the touchdown zone to land the aircraft safely because of the contour of the runway doesn't look right. Looks like an X-plane issue. You'll see it once we get to it. Daniel Ton, thank you for becoming a subscriber here at the Q8Pilot Channel. Welcome, my friend. Glad to have you here with us. Right, we're almost there, and you will see again the behavior. So mainly in this live stream, I wanted to show you guys the behavior of the aircraft systems. And I know that I haven't done it justice in the beginning with all the errors I've made with the autopilot. But I will tell you that in terms of systems, again, this aircraft is spot on. So far we haven't really done anything other than set the altitude for descent, and we've also confirmed the speed, the FMS speeds, and that's pretty much it. We haven't really done anything else. All right, so we are arriving into KP 162. And there is a restriction 12,000, so we need to be above 12,000 there. So that's one restriction. That's okay. We're doing well. And by the way, hand flying this aircraft is also very joyful. And that's what I love about the products that you develop, Ricardo, is that you guys keep improving. And by the way, guys, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to let you, I'm going to let you on something. When I did a review of, the SSG 747 initially, and you guys know me very well by now. I critiqued the aircraft, and Ricardo was actually very nice about it. And he explained things to me, and he explained to me why certain things were not working in a certain way, and why they had to price the aircraft at the the price tag of the aircraft at that point. But then he assured me that they're actually working on improving it, and I started seeing those improvements, and they got the aircraft to the point where actually it is an enjoyable aircraft. And so that goes a long way, that he takes feedback to heart, and he works on improving his add-ons, and that speaks volumes about him as a developer. So Ricardo, thank you very much for being a real sport in the community and for developing high quality add-ons for us to enjoy. I truly appreciate it. Right, so we're still at 290. Now I'm tempted to reduce the speed because we're actually pretty close. But maybe 43 nautical miles. That's okay. That's still okay. Now, if we go here back to the radio, that is not the correct frequency. So the correct frequency for our is 110.3, and that will change a little later, but you'll see it flipping. You'll definitely see it working. And momentarily, you're going to see the speed also reducing. So as soon as we pass this waypoint, we should start seeing the speed reducing as well. Maybe we'll extend the speed brake to help the aircraft reduce speed faster. Oh, so you guys are releasing the 175 as well. Ricardo, is it going to be like a bundle? So are you going to offer it at a discount if you already have the 195, or are they going to be separate ones? I do like the SSG 747 as well. Yeah, I think it's the best 747 for X-plane. All right. So now we can see that the FMS has changed the speed. Again, I haven't done anything. This is all controlled by the autopilot. I'm going to extend the speed brakes and just reduce the speed a little faster, so we can continue with the descent. There we go. So we're going to we're approaching 10,000 feet. We're going to turn on the fasten seat belt, non-smoking signs, landing lights are all on. And you know what? Let's go ahead and turn on the nose lights as well. There we go. And there is 250. Retract the speed brakes, and we're looking good. Right, let me reduce the range here. All right, from this point forward, so there is a restriction at 8,000, and we are about 30 nautical miles from our destination. I'm tempted to reduce our speed to about 220 knots and then switch to FMS speed a little later. What do you guys think? Morning, Q8. Whoever gifted me that membership because I just woke up. I have no idea, James, but congratulations. Hello, Craig. Welcome aboard. Yeah, I definitely agree there, Craig, with you. Definitely a discount for FPS 195 owners and the possibility to buy the bundle. That's great. That's really great news. All right, so we are at 900,000. And Ricardo, what do you think? Should I reduce the speed, or should I just let the FMS manage it? If we look here, the speed is 250 at the next two waypoints, and then it will go to 144, 141, and 128. I feel that just the speed is a bit too high, but maybe I'll just leave it. Yeah. All right. Again, as you've witnessed during the stream, the FMS fully respects the restrictions, works exactly as it should. Here is a turn now towards Kilo Papa 104, which is the transition. Again, the... All right, so now there is another restriction at 6,000. Still looking good. Speed is good. Yeah, bundles are always good, aren't they? All right, so one thing we can do, folks, is we can switch the speed to, where is it? Manual speed. Ah. What did I do? And then speed. Right, did we pick up the... Yeah, so we have the ILS frequency now picked up, which is 110.3, automatic. Excellent. And why don't we do that? Actually, we'll go back to the FMS speed because it's already set. And we'll just use the speed brake to decelerate the aircraft a little faster. And we continue the descent as well. And we can go to approach, localizer captured. Speed check, flaps 1. Speed check and flaps 2. There you can see the restriction there. And the airport should be right ahead of us now. Speed check, flaps 3. Landing gear coming down. All right, and we can now remove the speed brake here. Right, and auto brake to medium. We are looking good. And we're just going to check our flap setting here. All right, so we are flaps 4, flaps 5. Right, here we go. And now we are going to align with the runway. The airport, the runway is in sight. Flaps 5. And there we go, folks. We are aligned with the runway. And as you've witnessed, I haven't done anything. I haven't set any ILS frequency, nothing. Everything was automatically done. All the restrictions were properly respected by the system. We have the auto land, but we're not, of course, going to do an auto land. That's no fun. By the way, Ricardo, is auto land... is the auto land simulated? Does it actually work? we're not going to do it because we're going to hand fly the aircraft. So I am going to disconnect the autopilot momentarily and flaps full. All right, we're doing good. We're on the localizer and the glide slope, and we're looking good. You'll see the dip in the contour. There's a contour, really deep one there at the threshold. But look at this beautiful approach here as we arrive into our destination. What a lovely looking sight. Beautiful aircraft. And all is looking good. 1,000 feet. We'll disconnect the autopilot and hand fly the aircraft. Hey, Fly Lilo. Best moment, the final. Absolutely.
1,000.
All right, 1,000 feet. Autopilot disengaged. My aircraft. A little bit of wind.
Flight slope. Flight slope. Flight slope.
All right, here's the dip.
Flight
You can
slope.
see that.
Flight slope. Flight slope. Flight slope. Flight slope. Flight slope. Flight slope.
$100.
50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Reversers. $80 knots. Manual braking. And ladies and gentlemen, we have made it safely. Yeah, there's a dip in the runway, which is probably an X-plane thing, and we'll take a look at the landing in just a minute here. All right, let's exit the runway. The cockpit isn't ugly, but it definitely needs work, so the textures can be improved. But what I really like is how everything is just done for you by the, by the FMS, just like the real Embraer. So everything is automated, and everything is simulated properly. The auto throttle and all that. By the way, you see this automatically TCAS is turned off. That's pretty cool. All right, we can retract the flaps, and we can. Hopefully, it won't crash X-plane, but let's go ahead and take a look at the replay. So let's see here. All right, so yeah, I don't do the clicks anymore, so that I make sure that if X-plane doesn't crash. It's kind of strange to look at the aircraft doing the reverse. All right, here we go. All right. Go, I think right about, how about here? All right, there we go. And here's the first replay. Yeah, the flare wasn't too good. But other than that, I think it was all right. One of the things I love about X-Plane is the camera system. Lovely. All right, how about one more time, guys? All right, let's do that. I'm going to bring it back here. And we'll do a wing view this time. Check it out. That wing flex, though. All right, we can come here now and remove the... All right, here we go. We can now proceed to the gate. I hope you guys enjoyed those replays. Overall, the aircraft is a very well-developed aircraft in my view, though I believe the texture work overall needs work both from the external and interior perspectives. So that is something I think that will definitely add a lot to the aircraft. In the sounds department, the sounds, again, are lacking a little bit in my view. And the highlight of this aircraft is really the simulation of the aircraft systems, which work exactly like the real Embraer. And again, there are many real-world Azul pilots that have attested to the accuracy of the aircraft systems. And based on my knowledge and what I know about the Embraer, this Embraer is a very accurate rendition of the main aircraft systems, especially the autopilot system works exactly as it should. The VNAV, LNAV, the auto throttle, everything works exactly as it should. Excellent work in terms of the aircraft systems. Again, the final score that I give to this aircraft is 7.5. That gives us my silver plaque. But then again, the aircraft has a lot of potential with very few tweaks and enhancements to become really the best Embraer for flight sim. So I do want to thank you guys very much for tuning in this evening. I want to thank Ricardo, the developer from Flight Procedures Simulation, for being with us and helping me out fly the aircraft this evening. It was definitely a lot of fun flying this Embraer E-195 in the Azul livery, flying in Brazil as well. Looks like this is the cargo terminal, but that's okay. So that's it for this live stream. I hope that you guys enjoyed it as much as I enjoy streaming it for you. Until next time, please take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you all very soon. Stay safe, folks, and bye-bye for now.